Today we'll be taking a look at Chapter 18, Late Adulthood. In late adulthood, the medical specialty is gerontology. The physical aspects that begin to appear in late adulthood are a decline in dexterity, the speed of response, agility, and hearing and vision. Issues that arise are role discontinuation, where men and women's roles begin to merge into a sexless or androgynous model. There's greater candor with others and comfort with oneself. In late adulthood, friendships rarely terminate. Men tend to trust their best friend more than women trust theirs, and men have less personal conversations, where women discuss relationships and men discuss sports and politics. In late adulthood, sexuality can be undermined by a negative physical self-image. Sexual performance is undermined by age, and men are less satisfied with their sex life than women. Women outlive men by an average of 7 years. Women marry men on average who are 4 years older. Therefore, on average, women are widows for 11 years. Only half the women over the age of 65 live with a partner. Older women less likely to have sex is because of a differential opportunity structure. This is social disapproval, and they also don't have access to a pool of men. Most men do not become widowers unless they live to age 85. Male sexuality is affected by impotence. Drugs like Viagra have eliminated this for most men, although implants are often used when medication don't work. Female sexuality is affected by hormonal changes. Specifically, the vagina wall is thin and lubrication is not as plentiful as it was. Intercourse can become painful. Thousands of studies done on all types of monkeys have shown that they spend about 4 hours a day grooming. Grooming refers to the different ways of touching, stroking, hugging, and sex. We are genetically predispositioned to want physical interaction as a way of expressing affection and receiving comfort. Older people, however, are touched less and they don't have many opportunities to touch others. Let's take a look at marriage in late adulthood. Most couples go through a similar group of stages. They begin with child rearing and then childless before retirement. This would be like the empty nest syndrome. Then there's retirement, and then they move into what some people call a winter stage, which is widow or widowerhood. Partners in long-term marriages, 20 to 29 years, show less illness and disability. Widows and divorcees report more incidences of illness and disability. It has also been found that when one partner in a long-term relationship has a chronic long-term illness, it changes the dynamic of the original relationship. Conflict between seniors and their adult children boil down to 6 categories: communication and style of interaction, lifestyle choices and habits, parents' practices and values, religion, ideology, and politics. Also work habits and standards of household maintenance. In late adulthood, women prefer to have the support of their children, while men prefer to have the support of their wives. It is usually the daughters or daughter-in-laws who tend to be the primary caretakers for elderly patients or parents. But the newer generation of sons are stepping forward more and more to help. Caregivers experience higher than normal levels of depression and stress, and caring for someone with dementia is the most stressful experience of all. Widowhood can bring about many life changes. The first thing that can happen is that there is a shifting in social relationships with family and friends. Taking on partners' responsibilities can also bring about quite a bit of changes. There's extra financial pressures, there's a higher chance of depression, and studies have shown that men have a harder time coping when they lose their partner more than women do. In late adulthood, there is the experience of becoming a grandparent. This is existential love, which is the capacity to cherish the present moment, especially when we face the certainty of our own death. The love of grandparents who show patience and tenderness because they know how fleeting childhood is. This is an opposite of what they've experienced earlier in life, which is generative love, and that's characteristic of parenthood, sacrificing willingly made for the sake of the children. Grandparenthood is positively linked to mental health and morale of elderly people. Most grandparents prefer a non authoritative relationship with their grandkids. There is a new trend where grandparents are raising their grandchildren because the parent is absent. In this trend, there is a significant difference between the white community and the African American community. The African American grandparents are more likely to have peers in similar situations. African American households are more likely to have multiple generations living under one roof, and as a result, African American grandparents have a much easier time of raising their grandchildren. In the area of employment and late adulthood, only 11% of seniors continue to work after age 65. Although there are declines in physical abilities, the experience of an older person overcomes the physical issues. Older workers have less absenteeism, less turnover, less illness, less accident rates, and they tend to have higher job satisfaction and more positive work values. Men have a harder time with retirement than women. Many men feel that they have nothing to do. A committee on human development conducted a highly respected gerontology study at the University of Chicago. The findings were that when a person is in their 50s, they become more introspective and more interested in their inner selves. As people move into their 60s, they begin to see the world as a dangerous and complex place. The intensity of emotion invested in tasks declines, and gender roles reverse. Expectations of age status become more rigid. You should act your age, quote. In the next two theories, it is believed that with activity theory, humans flourish through interaction with other people and physical activity. Those who can maintain social interactions throughout their elderly years are the most happy. It is believed that activity theory, puzzles, games, cards, will help keep the mind active, therefore helping the elderly to be able to continue to have a good memory and interact socially with others. Disengagement theory is when most mature adults are likely to gradually disengage themselves from their fellow human beings in preparation for death. It is believed that disengagement is a temporary transition from active elder to a more spiritually oriented person who is dying. Finally, we will take a look at Erik Erikson. In the final crisis in human development, it is integrity versus despair. Erikson believed that successfully navigating this crisis means that the person feels that they have lived a good life. They feel satisfied with achievements. People who don't resolve this crisis successfully feel despair. They feel that they have made too many wrong decisions or that they did not make enough decisions. It's often characterized by fearing death and being contemptuous of society in general.